work to retrieve the inner child, to undo and change everything that's negative that you've accumulated and learned up until now. Because if you haven't, maybe it's a good thing to do, and I'll share why. In the last few days, we've done an awful lot, or talked an awful lot about the amount of information that we absolutely take on unconsciously through our five senses, from the things that we're hearing, seeing, feeling, touching. So imagine how much information, and it's in the millions, and we unconsciously absorb everything that's going on around us, whether, we're not even aware of it. So whether the TV is got sort of like negativity or violence on the television, or your kids are going crazy and the dogs are going mad and the neighbors are having an argument, you're absorbing all of that information, but consciously you're only processing a few bits of that information, and those bits are the bits that are relevant to you. And what's interesting about that is how much, when you start thinking about it, is how much information is stored in your body, in your cells, and in your mind that you're not even aware of. And you only become aware of it when you have a challenge, when you're facing adversity, or when somebody or something does something to annoy the hell out of you and cause an emotional response. Because otherwise, where does that emotional response come from? That person standing in front of you doesn't have enough power to make you feel whatever you're feeling, but they can trigger some internal reference that you've got from a story that you've made up by something you've heard, by something you've absorbed, by something that you have no idea about, but now you do. And because you've got that idea, you can now go in and do something about it. We've also, in the last couple of days, talked about, what else? I'm not allowed to say It's my thinking thing. Everybody does. Okay. Well, we've talked about how that negative self-talk can create limitations. And then I gave you 5 tips on how you can discover your own personal limitations. By the way, this is the first time you're joining me. I'm Pamela Hartnoll, your Empowerment Strategist, CEO and founder of MindFit Mastery. And today I want to share with you how you can change those limitations by understanding what's happened to your inner child. But before I do that, and I want to share with you how you can understand too that how those limiting thoughts create limitations in your life. It wouldn't happen everywhere in your life. Some areas you'll be really successful, but other areas will be impacted by that. So, but before I go there, I want to ask you, and I want you to ask yourself, and if you have a pen, write it down. How are you limiting yourself? Yeah. How are you limiting yourself, and where in your life are you limiting yourself? And how does that impact you? How is it showing up in your life? It may show up as fear. It may show up as being anxious. It may show up as you being worried about something and going, ooh, I'm not going to do that. Being frightened of failure. Or like I used to think, how about everything has to be perfect? And you know what that translates into is you have to be perfect to be loved. It's like we don't think that we have failed at something and take the lesson from it. We equate failing at something as being a failure, and they're two very different things. So where are you limiting what you can do and have? Write that down and ask yourself that. Because I want you to understand that you did not come into this world with any limitations. And I've asked my team to put up a little baby photo of me. So if you could do that, that would be amazing. And I'll show you why. Because you were born, when you came into this world, you were born as a goal-oriented, success-driven person, a little human being. And I'll share why I think that. Think about, as a baby, you're hopeless. You're helpless, right? You're there, you're just a blob. But you're internally driven to, oh, that's okay. No worries. My team have just sent me a message saying the picture's not loading, but that's okay. Imagine me as a baby. I think that's what they do, isn't it? But anyway, okay. So just imagine any other little baby that you've seen then. It doesn't matter. Think about that. They're helpless, but they are internally driven to to start moving and to sit up unsupported. There's not an adult there going, right, I want you to do this with your body and this with your hands, and I want you to do this with your mind. And you don't have the strength yet. You sit up and you fall over, right? But you are internally driven to keep trying. You sit up and you try again, and you fall over. You sit up and you try again, and sooner enough you nail that. Now, that's having a goal to sit up by yourself, unsupported, no videos, no instructions, no adults showing you. It's just what you do. You take that one step further. Think about the next goal that you would have as a baby would be to get moving and get mobile. So you start crawling. Now again, there's no videos, no instruction manuals, nobody there showing you. Go and put one knee here and one hand there and one knee here. Right? You're just doing that. You have worked it out because you're a goal-oriented, success-driven human being, and you work it out, and you do not stop until you can get that thing, that shiny little object that you saw on the other side of the room, wondered what it was, and ooh, I want that, and you go after it. Now think about that for walking. Okay, imagine if you'd had, imagine this is actually kind of funny. Imagine if you'd had egos or worries and concerns and limitations when you started walking. The very first time you stood up, started falling, you wobble, fell over, cracked your head on the coffee table, you'd be like, not doing that anymore, that's way too dangerous. And I look really stupid. Did my butt look big in this nappy? You just wouldn't, right? You just wouldn't. And you're a girl, or you just didn't, not you just wouldn't, but well, you wouldn't anyway. You didn't, but you didn't. You don't know about that then. You haven't learnt it yet. Think about that. Think about every little baby that you see out there that's doing all of those things at the right time. Anywhere in the world, you could drop a baby in the Congo and it would be walking and talking and learning. Same for eating, the same for talking. It takes about 2 years. I mean, that's not an exact, but it takes about 2 years for you to be listening to how something sounds. And you're watching to see the reaction of what that means. And then you make up with very limited knowledge, with nothing to compare it to. When that does that, that happens. When she's stressed, and you don't know it's stress, but when she's acting that way, that means that. And you learn what something means by the way the adults around you are dealing with stress, are dealing with each other, are dealing with the problems that they're facing. You're making that up when you have very little time on the planet. Think about that. You're making up stories. That's why 5, 6, 10 children, if you're an Irish family, can live in the same household, grow up with the same rules and regulations, grow up with the same parenting, and have a completely different story on what their childhood was like. And you may all know people like that. So I want you to check, where am I limited in my life? And then try and chase it back. Because I believe there's an inner child in all of us that wants to be set free. And I did have another picture that I wanted to load, but they're not loading, so I'm a bit bummed about that. But I will put them in my Reset Your Life group. Not necessarily the one of me as a baby, but I'll put in the one. It's a cage, 2 cages shaped in human form, and inside the cage are 2 little, and the cages are back to back. But inside the cages are, that's okay, it's not a problem. The babies inside that are facing each other, and high-tech mother, good morning, 1:45 a.m. joining from India. Thank you for being up and joining, high-tech mother. That's really lovely of you. I don't feel so alone now. And the early bird catches the worm, apparently. So, okay, so the inner child then. Maybe you don't know what the inner child is, but it's a small child inside you that learned all of those things when you had very little time on the planet, very limited knowledge. You had no knowledge really and nothing to compare it to. All right. And what happens then is it develops ideas and strategies and stories, and they're the ideas that play out in your world right now as an adult. So if you want to know what you've stored in there as a child, you only have to look around you to see what scares you and why does it scare you. It's like spiders, right? There are some people that are not scared of spiders. My mother, freaked out when she saw spiders. I mean, the spider was a tiny little thing. I mean, I'm in Australia and we have spiders the size of that, so they're okay to be afraid of. But I used to go running like a banshee as far as I could, quicker than Usain Bolt if there was a spider in the room. But now I've done the work and I'm not I don't like them and I will never pick one up, but I'm not afraid of them. It's an unrealistic fear in as much as if it was a real fear, everybody would be afraid, but it isn't. It's a perceived fear by what you've seen. So I learned that from my mother, who probably learned it from her mother, who learned it from her mother, who learned it. I mean, how far do you go back? It's a bit like when you're arguing with your partner or your friend. It's not even, you're not even arguing with each other. It's your conditioning against their conditioning, and they got that from their families and it's just generational. All right. Think about the things that you believe. Think about the way that you cook things. You've done it. Well, why do you cook it that way? Well, that's because that's how it was done before. And I'm just going to say hi to Sebastian. He's come on with, I hate spiders and roaches. Roaches, gotcha. I'm with you on that one. I hate them. And why do they even exist? What purpose do they have? All right. And High Tech Mother says, we learn our own talk. We learn how our own walk and talk and survive. Absolutely, we do. Yeah, we do. We teach ourselves that because we're driven for success. So we are constantly watching for the first couple of years of our life about, like I said already, what that means. That means that. So if I do that, that gets that. And we all want to just be loved. We all want to be cared about and think that we're significant and important. And what happens is we keep ourselves stuck because there's a part of us that wants that adventure, that variety, that surprise. But that comes up against that inner child part of us that wants security, it wants stability, and it wants certainty. So those two pieces conflict, and they can keep you stuck. Now, both parts obviously are trying to aim for the same thing. They want to have fun, they want to be loved. And in order to do that, you've got to show both parts that they are working for the same problem, they're working towards the same goal, but they're going about it a different way. One's trying to keep themselves really safe, so they don't get hurt, and the other one's like, no, go for it, take a risk. All right, and that can keep you stagnated. So I'm actually going to do a meditation on Sundays, but not at 6 o'clock. I'm going to do a meditation on Sundays in my group. So Reset Your Life group. I'm going to go live in there on Sunday at 7:30, and I'm going to start taking you through a meditation where we can reconnect with that inner child, and we can reconnect all of that curiosity. So you can reconnect to that because as a child, you don't know about limitations, so you're curious about everything. You poke your fingers in holes, you poke things to see what it does. And we're just as August has just joined us. Thank you. Good morning. Hello from Melbourne. Oh, someone on my. Are you on my time frame, or are you behind me? We've just had our clocks changed too. No, we didn't, but New South Wales did. Thank you for joining us, August. But yeah, so I'm going to do this meditation in my Reset Your Life group on Sunday at 7:30. It'll only be about 20 minutes. You can go back to sleep after, but it'll be a really good meditation. It's a technique I called neuro linking, and it links your current goal to other things that you like your favorite color. And I actually link it to other things where you've struggled at something. And August says, yes, we're on the same time zone. Great. And 7:30 is good. I can't do 6 a.m. I thought that. See? So I've gone to 7:30. Thanks, August. I'm going to expect you to be there while I'm ringing you. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do that. But anyway, I'll just message your messenger. Go, get up. You said you were going to be with me. So I'm going to do this meditation. It's a guided visualization, goal setting, meditation, visualization, as I said. And I'm going to show you how you can set your goals and reconnect to that inner curiosity, to that goal-seeking human being that you are. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye for now. I actually want to leave you with a wish that you live your best life. You live it large and you live it with passion. And High Tech Mother says, I'll be there anytime you want. Oh, I love you, High Tech Mother. That sounds like a really good class. It will be. I've done it before, and I owe a lot of everything that I have to this technique that I'm going to share with you. I recorded it for myself, though it's hard listening to your own voice. Pam, be quiet. But I've done that, and it's a sort of a No, I'm not going to tell you anymore. I was just about to go into it then. So you nearly got me. It's going to be a really, really good class. It's going to be recorded and you can repeatedly listen to it. And repetition, as Tony Robbins said when I did my training with him, repetition's the mother of skill. And the more you do something, the more familiar it becomes. So that said, live your life large and live it with passion. And I want you to be authentic, reset, and be you. And I'll see you Sunday. And if I don't see you then, I'll see you next week.